I may not look it, but I am having a good time.
You know what? Let's talk about Pain.
I got your picture!
According to the Wikipedia page, Pain was brought in as a new character for several reasons. The devs wanted a character to contrast with Riku's high-energy attitude. They didn't want to use Lulu because they believed that she would have been overbearing on the group. I really don't think the character works. She has plot relevance because she was the sphere recorder for the Crimson Squad. But beyond reining in the girls when they get overzealous and having a contrasting clothing style, what does she actually do? She's clearly carrying a lot of trauma, and may understandably have trust issues. Considering that she was shot by Nuge, you can see how uncomfortable she is whenever she's around any of the former Crimson Squad. But let's put ourselves in her shoes for a moment. You've survived a massacre, formed a close bond with 3 people, and then one of them betrayed and shot you. The group disbands. By some chance you run into the survivors. How do you act? By ignoring them? Sure, as an ego defense mechanism that makes sense. Would you feign ignorance? Yeah, that's believable. Pretend you don't know them, because mentioning the trauma could be too much to handle. And when the man who shot you and left you for dead is standing in front of you, how would you react? Like this? Yeah, probably not. I get that she's reserved, but I feel like this interaction should have more to it than just her standing there doing nothing. But why is it written like this? Why does the scene play out the way it does?
Oh my god, like mystery boxes are everywhere.
If her character arc is about opening up and trusting others, I feel like she's already at the point at the very beginning of the game. Sure, she's not telling her life story, but she's willing to engage with Rikku and Yuna. She's clearly fond of the Gullwings crew to some degree. I just feel like the character's growth has already happened off screen.
I'll say this once, okay? I consider you friends and I trust you. I even respect you, alright? I would think that'd be enough.
Now we're starting Chapter 5, the last chapter. According to my save file, I've put 49 hours into this game, and I would personally like to be finished with it. So Vecna Gun is in the far plane. But first we gotta look at the comm sphere. Woo!
Woo! It's live and in color!
Is it time?
Yeah! I mean, no, not yet.
The girls are doing their Silent Hill 2 thing again and just jumping down these holes into the abyss of the far plane. But before that, we gotta watch another Crimson Sphere. So it shows that massacre that we've heard so much about.
Nice.
I don't know if it's spoilers at this point, but the reason that everyone is going nuts is because those Fireflies are part of Shuyin, who is mad. Really, really mad. Final Fantasy X kind of alluded to this phenomenon, with characters' souls coming back to warn the player about this guy. But nothing as overt as this. I mean, what, you're telling me he's the first person to die this angry in Spira? Sin was killing people for 1,000 years and this guy alone has enough anger to proc this? You know what? Fine. Whatever. Man, that jumping gap in the cabin has got to be some sort of OH&S violation. That's definitely not up to code. Brother and Barkeep have a conversation, and Brother is pouring his heart out. Also, Mickey Rooney has a wife, so I guess they're just going to make out for the remainder of the game. At this rate, that's probably 10 hours. Also, having chocobos roam the bar is a bit fucked. Can you imagine the size of shit that comes out of an 8-foot chicken? Yuna talks to Buddy in the engine room, and he gives us the lowdown on the Celsius, and then explains why the group is called the Gullwings.
I'd caught word that an old airship was at the bottom of the sea, way up in the north. Me and Brother made our way through a sea of ice. On top of that, we were freezing our blitz balls off. Yep, I thought we were done for. Then, it appeared above us, a single gull, flying along out of nowhere, as if it had come to save us, right? We didn't have a lot of options, so me and Brother chased after that gull with everything we had left. And, by some stroke of luck, we found this ship nestled within the ice.
Oh, so that's why we're the gullwings.
Okay, that's pretty good. Buddy is kind of an underutilized character in this game. Why are there so few scenes with Buddy? Because we have to have this fuckhead scream directly into your ears. Xanakind is now back to the way it was. The girls make a campfire, reminiscent of this pivotal Final Fantasy X scene. That monkey breeding plan worked out. Probably too well. Look at all of them. Machen is here to tell us about Vegnagun. Turns out the weapon was faulty.
You see, it was quick to respond to hostility, but lacked the ability to discern friend from foe. Incidentally, this is why Vegnagun was never considered as a measure to combat sin. Instead, it was locked away under the veil.
Jeez, Gramps, you really know a lot.
We then find out that he was an unsent the whole time, and shaking Yuna's hand reminded him that he's been around for 1,000 years. We get a quick glimpse of Braska, Jecht, and Orin, and then he sends himself.
The many people I have known have all journeyed to the far plane, leaving only me behind. 'Tis quite lonely.
Gramps?
Wakka and Lulu's child is born. Man, that baby's gonna have plenty of milk. Lulu has massive Wakka doesn't know what to call the baby, and Lulu is adamant that he should name it. Becklem has a gift, and he implies that it's from Chapu, Wakka's younger brother, who was killed by Sin. It also turns out Becklem is like the Jimi Hendrix of Blitzball. Holy shit.
Whoa.
We give Wakka the sphere. It's footage of Chapu and Wakka talking. Chapu admits that he made up the whole thing about their parents being on a sphere. The girls end up staying the night and they have a bonfire. Wakka names the kid and vows to become his own person.
I chose a name. His name is Vedina. Everybody, take good care of him, yeah?
Wakka, we're in this together. Whether you see it or not, I really do rely on you.
Guess I'd better not drop the ball, yeah?
Nothing like a man who uses a sports analogy to put his life into perspective. Was that a good mission? Yeah, I'll allow it. That was pretty good. Over in Kilika, people are still pissed off about the whole New Yevon versus Youth League thing. A crowd is gathered at the gate to the temple. Donna gets the gate open, so the villagers storm to the temple. Donna and Bartello then hash it out in public.
Don't interrupt. I've been practicing these lines for days, so be quiet and let me finish.
They get back together. Yay? I don't know. I never thought much of these characters, even in Final Fantasy X. Blitzball is back, thank Christ. Let's blitz, motherfucker. And we're actually going to play as the gullwings. Alright. What? This seems a little different. What? I'm not... Oh god. What the hell just happened? This might be the most offensive part of the game. And then the audio glitched out. I think I'm gonna cry. No, I don't think I want to play this anymore. Yuna has flashbacks to that scene. Yes, that scene. Then she starts tripping balls. She sees a Moogle and starts chasing it. There's a furtive, floating, fluffy, flying, f***ing Moogle. Viroja's here.
Last thing we need is another unit storming in.
Yuna does some more reflecting, and that's it. Down on the high road, Rin has figured out who keeps fucking with him. Then we get a montage of Rikku being an idiot.
Car breaks. The sixth and fatal shot, frame 313, takes Kennedy in the head from the front. This is the key shot. The president going back and to his left. Shot from the front and right. Totally inconsistent with a shot from the depository. Again, back to the left.
So Rikku is forced to pick up trash. Rin then buys chocobos, and Riku's got to pick up the feathers. Over at Mushroom Rock, the Youth League let Yuna know that her plan to unify the people actually worked. But some people are still itching for a fight. So they decide to put their energy into a tournament. The gullwings fight the Youth League, which includes Yibel, Elmer, and Lucille. And Lucille's no pushover. Lucille gives us the Death Seeker sphere, which just has a whole lot of Nuge brooding.
Not ill, broken.
I got your picture!
Even now, there is something inside me that craves death.
I got your picture!
Or perhaps something else inside me that despises life.
I got your picture! I got your picture! I got you!
Then we watch Crimson Sphere 8, which has the squad resting peacefully on the high road, looking at the sunset. Psych!
Who? Newt!
I said your work's done.
The gullwings enter the Den of Woe. We speak directly to Shuyin for the first time, and he's an angry boy, who specializes in possession.
Shuyin! You?
I wanted to rest forever, but the fireflies make me relive that moment. Again, and again, and again.
We get a flashback with Shuyin using Vegnagun, and it turns out that Vegnagun is powered by a musical keyboard. That's ridiculous. That's like having an atomic bomb that's powered by John Mayer's guitar. Shuyin continues to taunt Yuna, and now we're forced to fight Rikku and Pain, as Yuna. Very sad? Yeah, I don't know, this scene doesn't really work for me, because it's clear that it's just Shuyin's bullshit mind control. Also, I'm using a deck of cards, but that's probably my fault. Of course, it doesn't help that there's been no signs of division between any of the members of the gullwings. We get some more musings about Shuyin. I get that he's like a vengeful version of Titus in a world that killed his version of Yuna, so he's had to face similar trauma, but none of these scenes hit. He just comes off as angsty, two-dimensional, and really boring. And if you didn't play Final Fantasy X, Shuyin looking like Titus means even less. Even with context, his character falls completely short. Shuyin forces us to fight the ghosts of the Crimson Squad. Baralai and Gipple are pretty easy, but Nuge puts up a hell of a fight. Pain gives us another recap of what happened. Do you get it? You got all that? Makes sense? Is it clear? Good. At the Jose Temple, the Machine faction have made a new Machina to fight with. We can upgrade it by digging in the desert. Just some endgame stuff, really. Then the guy making it loses control of the machine and it needs to be taken out. He tears us in half, so we're just going to ignore that for now. Or we could bring backup.
You know what time it is.
In Guado Salam, yeah, did you forget about the Guados? Don't worry. The game clearly forgot about them too. The Guados have returned to Guado Salam, and that trip-hop band is playing. Okay. So they just walked right back in and no one tried to stop them? Alright. Whatever. Thunder Plains are going nuts. Shinra's comm sphere is fucked up. And now the fiends are pissed. Kill them all. And fight a behemoth called Humbubba. Great name. After killing him, the group finds some sort of secret cave. Straight lines down a squared off corridor. 10 points for creativity. Sid's down here, and he's hurt. Then we have to fight Machina Panzer. Oh shit.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The gang offers him a place on the airship, but he and Brother have had some sort of falling out. Sweet Jesus, are we actually going to get an emotional payoff for Brother? The Marcolania woods are still fading away, so it's time to lament over old memories. You know, the one where Titus and Yuna make out underwater for an eternity, as Kamari watches. Over in the Calmlands, the two opposing businesses have shut down. But then Tobley comes out to mediate. And then there's an optional dungeon, but you need to do the chocobo raising minigame. Time to cheat.
You cheated back, cheated back, cheated back, you cheated back.
Doing all that unlocks the dungeon and the chocobo stables. Then Yuna, of all people, accuses Klasko of bestiality.
They make a cute couple, don't you think?
So you f***ed a bunch of chickens?
Yes, exactly.
On Mount Gagazet, Garrick is going nuts. Kamari still sucks at his job, and the kids have come back, with perspective. Kimahri gives Garrick the old Shoryuken for being an asshole. So, Kimahri's a good leader now, I suppose. All he had to do was give him the old Ronso uppercut. Finally, we're going to the far plane, to find the guys from the Crimson Squad, destroy Vegnagun, and presumably kill Shuyin. This level looks like Zen from Half-Life, the worst section of an otherwise great game. Hopes are not high right now. Dark Shiva is here. I've fought her several times in the monster arena. She's really good for farming ability points. The Magus sisters are here too. And we're really just throwing these emotional payoffs right off a cliff, aren't we? If the game doesn't care, why should I? Oh look, this guy's immune to physical damage. Sweet. Here's my in-depth strategy to deal with this fiend. Anima shows up. You know, the Aeon that represents the suffering that Seymour's human mother had gone through, because presumably she wasn't accepted amongst the Guado. He's here. For reasons.
Though it is small recompense for what I did to him.
I'm really trying here. Then Bahamut's human form shows up, apologizing to Yuna for not being strong enough to stop one guy. The same Aeons who brought down fucking Sin. Then Yuna says some Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
I'll banish shadow with light.
Because I forgot that Tetsuya Nomura was on the dev team as well, so that makes sense. We will have a hooded figure show up, say a bunch of bullshit that doesn't mean anything. Then he's going to make fun of the player for not knowing what's going on. Brilliant. 5 stars. Now we're in the Final Fantasy VIII Flower Field. The LeBlanc Syndicate are here too. Perfect time for comic relief, while we're standing in Spira's equivalent of hell. We take a break on the ship, and Shinra does his piss-poor job of convincing the audience that the game is connected to Final Fantasy VII. You know, the live stream being derivative of the Farplane or whatever. Apparently that's what powers Vegnagun. Great. So we made a super weapon that's powered by fanfiction. On the deck, Brother and Buddy are having a talk, and I don't have the brain power or the Albed primers to figure out what they're saying. Presumably just Brother talking about Yuna. And Sid shows up to tell him to get back to work. Sid then gives Yuna a pep talk.
I don't know what this Sphere Hunter business is all about, but I won't tolerate unwed girls running around doing crazy stuff. Can't you be a little more, you know, ladylike?
Get with it, Pops! Ugh! That is so primitive! Right?
Sure. Girl power. Or something. Sid gives his kids a well-deserved dressing down.
You're the one I'm worried about most, you mohawk moron. So? No!
Actually, Pop's on the mark for once.
Stop picking on your brother.
Hey, what is that?
Then he just lies down and tells us to do whatever the fuck we want. I think that's the second time the game's made me laugh. On the deck, the girls are having one last talk. Time to bring it home. Let's give us the good emotional payoff. What do you got? Yuna thanks Rikku for existing, and then points out her irrelevance to the plot.
So, I think next time?
Next time?
Yeah, next time will be your story.
Back down the silent hill hole to the far plane and through the portal. Music puzzle. I know how to music. Kind of. But then it just gives you the solution. So you fight that thing outside of Zanakin from Final Fantasy X, and now I'm stuck. Yuna refuses to play the keyboard, and the floating red eye shoots me whenever I try and cross. Ah, you can just jump over it. You know, jumping over red lines when attacked by lasers. That thing that you've done exactly 0 times. Gipple is down and out. Nuge is just ahead, presumably dealing with a Shuyin-possessed Baralai. He gives Pain a sphere, which has a recording of the Crimson Squad. It shows Pain letting the group know about her aspirations.
Any ideas, Dr. P?
Me? A ship that glides through the air. That thing you mentioned before. If it's for real, I want to fly it.
Oh boy. This better be optional. It's not. So I just used a guide. I say that like you're going to play this game. That's the dumbest thing I've said for this whole series. Probably for the channel. Point of no return.
I got a hunch that once we go on ahead, there's no turning back.
A hunch.
Yeah.
As goofy as that dialogue is, I kind of appreciate that the game just comes out and says it. Nuge is at the top, and a Shuyin possessed Baralai is jamming on the keyboard. I was going to do this bit where Baralai is playing DJ Shadow's organ donor as he uses Vegnagun, but I don't want to fight YouTube's copyright system. I tried, and I lost. Nuge has a plan, and it's kind of crazy.
I have a plan. Can't call it a smart one, though.
What's that?
He acts through another's body. Stop the body, and you stop him. I'll shoot Baralai.
No.
His body will be useless, but if we're lucky, he won't die. Shuyin will abandon Baralai, and then he'll come back for me.
What then?
I will die.
Yuna has something to say.
I don't like your plan. It sucks.
Was that supposed to be funny? I don't know. She continues her monologue about the futility of sacrifice. Yuna suggests to Rikku that they could just disassemble the machine, and everyone shows up. Thought I got away from this song. Apparently not.
And I never was the wait like a good girl type, isn't that right, Nuji?
What about Shuyin?
Plan B.
Oh?
Love.
Ugh. Shuyin starts his sick keyboard solo and Vegnagun starts to charge. This looks really dumb. Did the design brief just have a picture of the devil? Ah, yeah, Gary, just make it look like a heavy metal album cover. That's fine. Yuna starts directing traffic and we start an all-out assault, starting with the tail. After defeating the tail, LeBlanc's team is struggling, so we run in for the assist. Then we give Nuge and Gipple help. And now it's time to finally confront Shuyin. Yuna then uses the dancer dress sphere so that Len can talk to Shuyin. Shuyin sees right through it and gets very upset.
You are not Len!
As he fights, he actually uses all of Titus's moves. And even though it's not Titus, Jecht is still making fun of him.
Put that crybaby to sleep!
This scene doesn't really hit, and considering my team is dressed up like the fucking Teletubbies, it falls really flat. Len then emerges from the dress sphere. Shuyin tries to fucking clock her with a goddamn Brock Lesnar hammer fist, but she's got good hands, and she takes him down. This dude does not deserve any kind of redemption. I feel nothing for him. He's a childish psychopath.
1,000 years, and this moment is all we get?
This moment's enough.
So both Shuyin and Len send themselves, and that's that. The Crimson Squad give a speech like Yuna did at the end of Final Fantasy X. They ask forgiveness for their abuse of power. And they all buy it. Hook, line, and sinker.
We turned our friends and followers against each other.
Forgive us.
Yuna actually bails on the whole speech thing. The gullwings fly away on the Celsius, and we end with Brother fucking screaming into the intercom. Yuna gives us the Uncanny Valley smile and she flies into the sunset. And that's the ending, if you get less than 100% completion. So guess what? You know when I said I wasn't going for 100%?
A lie.
Yeah, I did it. If you're going to criticize something, you gotta go all the way. I beat 100% of it, and I still think it's a piece of shit. The requirements are absurd. You can skip dialogue, but not this dialogue in this scene. Also, don't skip any cutscenes. If Rikku didn't fall off the statue in this section, reset. Did you do the shitty PR mini-quest? Go to the end of the dungeon that you already did for a hidden cutscene. Sleep in the cabin, completely unprompted. View the comsphere. Nothing happens. Check it again. Nothing. Check it again. Cutscene. You need to watch this for 100% completion, you idiot. View it 6 more times. How are you supposed to know any of this? View the Hot Springs comsphere 15 times. Fuck off. And the best part is that it's all missable. Didn't get something in Chapter 1? Fuck you, try again. New Game Plus is for you, you fucking peasant. Keep in mind, I was playing the HD re-release, which has inbuilt cheats like 4 times speed and turn off random encounters. To anyone who 100%ed this game on the original version, you're a maniac. Someone made a website where you can upload your save, and it gives you a checklist so you know what you've missed. I don't know who you are, website creator, but you're my fucking hero. So, here's the real ending. Yuna hears a familiar sound, which only happens when you mash the X button during this scene. Human form Bahamut shows up with an offer that we take. Obviously I didn't suffer through 79 hours to turn around and tell Bahamut, "Yeah, nah mate, I'll be right, eh?" We see Titus emerge from the water on the outskirts of Besaid. Yuna jumps out of the Celsius and embraces Titus. It seems that the Faith gave Yuna a little something for her trouble. They run back to shore and everyone gets their happy ending. Titus gives us the fan theory craft on why he's back, and after some contemplation about his existence, he remarks that Yuna has changed quite a lot. We get a reshot of the opening of Final Fantasy X, and that's all. Unless you count Final Fantasy X-3, which is real. It's a novel that opens with Titus being blown up by a bomb that looks like a blitzball. I'm not kidding. He goes to kick it and he gets fucking obliterated. We unlock New Game Plus. Thanks, but no thanks. And we're done. Did I enjoy that? No, I don't think this game is very good. The battle system is fine. Alright, I admit that a lot of my frustration came from me being genuinely bad at it. But I still have a pet peeve about selecting a move, then waiting for the second bar, then waiting for the enemy to finish their action. It's not as snappy as I'd like. It somehow feels slower despite it being active. If this game was called Super Happy Fun Time Fucking J-Pop Sailor Moon Adventures, then I really wouldn't have an issue with it. But it's not. It's a sequel to a game that means a lot to me. They took something that ended perfectly and made a completely unnecessary continuation for characters who have already completed their arc. So, I'm gonna bitch about it.
Беспонтовая музыка. На самом деле, очень плохая музыка.
А зачем вы пришли сюда?
Я думал, намного лучше будет это все. И очень плохая музыка, просто очень плохая музыка. Я думал, намного лучше это все будет. Сколько раз сюда ходил, было намного лучше, но на этот раз как-то не удалось. Во-первых, народу мама, музыка не очень.
А что за направление?
А?
Что за направление?
Направление? Какое направление?
Что за направление музыки